More news coming in at this point in time. This has got to do with the High Court Judge Cash Hall matter. The verdict is being pronounced as we speak. These are details that we have with us. We will be going across to our reporters for more from the Supreme Court of India. This is Justice Verma Cash Hall matter which is being heard. It's a crucial day in that sense with the verdict being pronounced. Remember, it approached the Supreme Court in connection with the impeachment also in the Cash Hall case, with the court then questioning Justice Verma over his petition against impeachment. The verdict in this matter is being pronounced as we speak. Let's try and go across to my colleagues for more on that. But this controversy broke out with the recovery, or the accidental recovery rather, of cash in Justice Verma's house when a fire took place essentially. Details that we have with us at this point in time is that the court is pronouncing its verdict today. I'm going to, in fact, read out from what the court essentially has said. As far as this matter is concerned, this is the Yashwant Verma case. What is for consideration before Supreme Court? First of all, to tell our viewers, the court to pronounce verdict considering three aspects challenged by Justice Yashwant Verma: the findings of internal inquiry committee, the legality of the in-house procedure, the Chief Justice of India's recommendation to the President and Prime Minister regarding his removal. Nalini has more on that. Going straight to you, Nalini. The verdict being pronounced. What's the latest, Nalini?
Yeah, the verdict is currently being pronounced by the bench of Justices Deepankar Datta and A.G. Masi. And what they've stated is that they are going to tread very cautiously with this judgment. They are not going to look at any aspect that is not absolutely necessary when it comes to giving the decision regarding Justice Yashwant Verma's petition. The big breaking news that's coming in right now is that the Supreme Court has said that the entire procedure regarding the in-house inquiry committee and the consequential report that came out of it, in fact, does have legal sanction, which means that it's not an unconstitutional procedure. They have also gone ahead and said that the CJI and the committee both followed the procedure except for one aspect, which was regarding uploading of that video on the Supreme Court website when the report had been released by the Supreme Court at that particular time. So keeping that in mind, the Supreme Court's also gone ahead and said that we have said nothing turns on us since the opportune moment that you did not come before the court. And remember, Sneha, the Supreme Court is analyzing this after already stating during the course of the hearing that the conduct of Justice Verma had not inspired confidence. So which is why Supreme Court has said that we framed 6 questions and we've given the answer to those 6 questions despite the fact that an observation had been made where the conduct of the judge did not inspire confidence. But the Supreme Court has said that it was not precisely the requirement of the procedure. In one case, the CJI had given a chance, and that can't be claimed as a matter of right by Justice Yashwant Verma. He also goes on to say that some observations have been made, and they have made sure that nothing that is in this judgment is going to adversely impact any other process against the judge regarding his impeachment. Because as we know, the procedure before the Parliament is still yet to happen. So the Supreme Court has taken extra caution to ensure that none of its observations in this judgment in Justice Yashwant Verma's petition actually impacts the parliamentary proceedings regarding his impeachment. So the petition, now that we can confirm, Sneha, is that the petition has been dismissed with some observations, which means that the inquiry committee report stands as has been decided by the Supreme Court. Justice Yashwant Verma has challenged the inquiry committee whether or not it was constitutional. He said that he was not given a fair hearing. The principles of natural justice were not followed. But now that the Supreme Court has dismissed this petition, that means that not only have they upheld the inquiry committee report, but they've also gone ahead and said that the recommendation that was made by the Chief Justice of India on the basis of that inquiry committee report, where he had written to the PMO and the President to initiate impeachment proceedings against Justice Verma, that too was not without legal sanction. That CBI was in his authority to do that. So, big setback, Sneha, coming in for Justice Yashwant Verma from the Supreme Court. It remains to be seen how the things now progress before the parliament, because that's essentially where he will now have to challenge his impeachment motion if he expects to get any relief.
I want to ask you, Nalini, any question really with this blow coming in from the Supreme Court today, that his petition has been dismissed, his plea has been dismissed in that sense, rejected by the court, upholding the legality of in-house probe in the matter. Any other option really before Justice Verma?
Well, Sneha, the options before him anyway were limited,
Yes.
because even this petition had been filed as an afterthought, which is something that the Supreme Court had also noted earlier. The Supreme Court had asked that if you wanted to challenge the entire process of the inquiry panel, why did you not come to the Supreme Court earlier when the inquiry panel was constituted or when the hearing was going on? Why did you wait for such a long time to make this challenge before the Supreme Court? But at the same time, the options before him are limited. Now, all he can possibly do is face the impeachment proceedings in the parliament, ensure that he not only appears before the committee, and that is given to understand he anyway plans to do, because there is no other option for him except for to comply with the process. So it remains to be seen what happens now before the parliament, but essentially there is no relief coming in for him from the Supreme Court, because now not only on the administrative side, which was done by the former Chief Justice of India, but now also on the judicial side, the Supreme Court clearly said that the inquiry panel report was constitutional, the entire process behind it was constitutional, and that none of the allegations that have been raised by Justice Verma hold any water, at least before the court on judicial grounds.
All right. This is what is now being said by the court. In fact, to take our viewers through the details, this was a petition before the Supreme Court of India that has been dismissed by the apex court today. Developments that Nalini is reporting on, with the court saying the in-house inquiry procedure has got legal sanction. It's not a parallel procedure. The Supreme Court saying both the CGI and in-house committee has followed the procedure, both followed procedure except on one aspect, on uploading of the footage.